So next thing, we have this wood parts again. Let me see, we are going to start, so I'm going to start with the top part. It's very fast. And now we are going to make this part here. Alright, the last thing we have to do is just the stores, and the same thing, and it's always the same thing, just select some edges, make the seams on the right place and unwrap it. Good, we can make now these metal parts here. So same thing, we are going into the edit mode and we are going to place some seams where we need to cut it. Let me see where else we can do the cut. Maybe just this whole loop cut here. Unwrap it, then you see what kind of work you have done. So you see we have here too much stretching, so we can separate it maybe another time. So just do the seams, and it's much better. That face in here is just the inside, so it's not very visible. So we can leave it like that. So we can do the same thing now on all the other wheels. And we have our handle here, our last object for the store. So we can do this if we just going to cut it here on the sides. Then we are going to cut up here. This one will be flat. And the same thing here, and one on the bottom. I think that's enough. Yeah, that's enough. This is caused because we have some vertices maybe floating around or something like that. Let me see. Maybe if we just delete this whole edge. Okay, we have here some edges floating around, as you can see. So we are going to place it on top. And I think that should work. Okay, up here we have another, yeah. And we're good. So this door is done. And we're going to the next door. Alright, I'm done with our doors. I'm done with our whole thing here, with our whole shack. And now we can start to place the UV map. So let me see. I'm going to definitely join the wood parts together. We don't need too many of them. So I just want one object for the woods, one for the metal, one for the floor, or maybe one for the floor and the metal part, and one for the door right and left. I'm going to select all our wood parts, go into edit mode, select all, unwrap it, and now we can just go to our UV Pack Mask 3 and start to pack it. So we have here some major big wood parts. We don't need them that big, so I'm going to scale them down. You can activate the option fix scale, so it's not gonna be big again. Go to pack, and now we have some space up here. We can just use the space until we have a red arrow here. So we can just go a little bit down with our size. And that's it for the first try. Later on the texturing part, we have maybe to tweak a little bit our UV map, but it's good for now. All right. What else we can do? We can just select this part, and join them together. And with this, we can now apply our mirror modifier. If you go now into edit mode and select one of these faces, one of this plank here, you see under this UV island we have the other one placed perfectly, so we can just save some space. Alright, now we can just join them together and call this wood low. Good, that it's done. Now we're going to join the floor and the ceiling, the top of the shack together. We can select all. Don't unwrap it because we need this actual size. Select the outer parts that are visible and unwrap them. Maybe the floor not that big. And that's this one maybe a little bit bigger. Select all and start to pack them. So maybe enable rotation. Rotation is enabled, but I think we are good. Yeah, we are good now. So next one, the door left. Select all So now we have to decide which area will be textured the most, so we need more space, and which not. So it's definitely this area here, and this upper part will be not very textured, so I think that's good for now, because if we just select these parts, they are small and we can leave it like that. So I'm going to select all, and now we can just pack them. And we are good. And the last part, same thing here, select all and pack them. So now you can go into edit mode, select all your vertices, and that's important that you press Ctrl T to triangulate the whole stuff. Blender is better than other softwares that we are going to use, so triangulate it in Blender. Now we can go to File, Export, and FBX. In here I created a folder called Export, open it up, and I just created earlier some export to test, but you can call it check low. It's important that you activate this limit to selected object, and now you can export it. So the same thing we can do with our high poly, select all, go into edit mode, triangulate it, and now we can just export it as FBX, call it this time high. After exportation, you can just open up Marmoset Toolbag. In here, the first thing what we are going to do is to click on New Bake Project. And now we have your high and your low folder. You can select your assets that you have exported, and with drag and drop, drag it in here. As you can see, we have a lot of objects in here because that's our high poly, just close it up. And in our low poly, we have our named objects, that's good. So we just can select maybe this area here, or maybe like this. And the first thing what we are going to do, select the high poly and drag and drop it in here. Select the low poly, drag and drop it in the low. And now we can go into the low. Usually I'm going to select on auto bake none, because I don't want to bake it on its own. And you see the cage is too big, it's way too big. So we have to shrink it a little bit down, but first we have to activate our high poly here, so you can see what we are going to do, because we need our details in here. So I'm going to select this area, and on max offset you can go a little bit down with this. Not too much, because if you're going too much down, you see we have our cage too small. This area here has to be in our cage, so go a little bit bigger. That's good, that's fine. And we are good. So we are going to back to our Bake Project 1. In here we have to tweak some settings. The first thing we have to do is just to go under Output, select the folder where you want to save the files. For me, this is the folder Marmoset and Maps. I'm going to call it Shack, that's enough. Go to Save. The next thing I like to do is the samples up to 16. And we have to go, let me see, here resolution up to 4K if you want to, but 2K is fair enough. Go to Configure, here under Maps. We need the normals, in brackets object. We need the position, the curvature, we need the thickness, and we need the ambient occlusion. And what we don't need is the material ID. Good. Activate here the ambient occlusion, and we are ready to go. We have to hide our high so we can see if it's baking or not. So I'm going closer like this, so we see if the normal map is baking, and click on bake. All right, the bake is done. The last thing we have to do is just press the preview button. And you see we have a mess. That's because I just forgot to activate an option in here, but first we have to tweak a little bit our asset. So go back to Blender. Problem is caused because we have the UV layout. Oh, maybe just activate the low. So if I'm going to select all and go into edit mode, you see the problem is caused because we have our textures or UV just laid on top of another. So Marmoset Toolbag doesn't know which layer has to bake it on. To resolve this problem, it's very easy. Just select your first object, your first asset. In this case, it's wood. Go to material properties and create a new one. Call it wood. Go to metal. Delete this material here. Create a new one. Call it metal. Go to door right. Create a new one. Door right. And the last one, create a new one. Door left. So we now have for every single object a known material slot. That's important. So go to select all again. Go to File, Export FBX. Select this shake low, and this is always on. Go to Export. Go back to Marmoset Toolbag, and it's loaded up again. And you see on the right side the materials we created, and we need just the door right, metal, wood, door left. The other two we don't need really. And now we can go on the left under texture sets, under multiple texture sets, activate this option, and you have now the material slots you need: door right, wood, door left, metal. All the materials are going to be 4K if you want to. If you want to, you can go to 2K or 8K, whatever you want. And now we can just bake it again, and we are done. If I now click to preview, it's perfectly done. So we have our ambient occlusion map, we have our details in here with the normal map of the high poly. We have some errors here that's caused maybe because our cage isn't very big, but no, it's big enough. So let me see what's causing this problem here. Yeah, it's the cage. It's the cage and the high poly. So if I go back to our high, so select the high, maybe just deselect here the selection. So go up on the right corner, we have this selection restriction icon activated, and now we can just deselect the low, so we can't select them again. We just need this area here, and if I go in here, you see, yeah, we have here a problem with our face orientation. So go up to the viewport overlay, go to face orientation, you see it's red. We have some area that's red, that's not good. So go into edit mode, select all, spacebar, recalculate outside, and it's blue again. Good. Now we can deactivate this again and select the high poly and export it again as FBX. Select the shake high, export it, go back to Marmoset Toolbag, and you see, if I just go to reload, it's going to be in the right direction now. Perfect. You have to bake it again. And if I now deactivate the visibility of our high poly and go to our bake project preview, it's just previewed, as you can see. Now it's in the right direction. So usually the next thing I just gonna go is to tweak a little bit here, this details, go to low, and in here you have the show skew option, deactivate the show offset, we don't need that, it's just for the cage. And you see these green arrows indicates where it's going to face the normal, the detail. It's a little bit off, it's not straight. So go here under paint skew, we can just paint it out. Go to texture set, go to wood, and in here you can paint. So you can do it in two ways. You can paint here, the red means it's perfectly straight, like this. Or you can go and if you want to just paint the whole thing, we haven't any other details in here, so just paint it out. It's much faster if you do that. Good. We need some skews in the door parts. So go to door right to the same thing, like that, and door left to the same thing, and we are good. So I'm going to deactivate the show skew. I go back to bake, but first I'm going to deactivate the metal because we don't need them to be baked. We only need the door right, the wood, and door left. So we just save some time. Now we see it's facing in the right direction. All straight, perfect. Good, I think we are done now with this area here with this with Marmoset toolback, and we can go on to Substance Painter. In Substance Painter, the first thing we have to do is just to go to File, New, under File, select your export, your low, go to Export, select the low file. The rest, leave the rest as it is. The only thing we have to do is under Import Baked Maps, activate, open up this panel, go to Add, select your created Marmoset maps, select all. We need all this. We need all the stuff. And OK. Now we have to assign our maps to the corresponding material slots here. So we have our door left. Go to Texture Set Settings. Go down. And under mesh maps, here we have our normal map. So it's a little bit, yeah. In this case, we have a little bit too much of this map. So go to the search bar and type shack. But first you have to go to this slot here, texture slot, and you have your created maps. So we need our door left. Let me see where it is. That's the shack thickness, that's the wood. Here it is, door left. It's the normal. The normal goes into the normal. The space normal goes into the space normal. The ambient occlusion goes into the ambient occlusion, and so on. It's easier if you just select for the whole thing, for the whole name. And the position and the thickness. Good, we are going to the right, so type in shack door right if you called it like that, and do the same thing here. So we can start with our texturing. The first thing we have to do is to save, and the second thing is to select now our textures. Usually I go to the materials. I'm typing in wood, and I have some type of woods, maybe just smart woods, maybe some smart materials, and you can use whatever you want. So maybe you're going to use that's too clean stuff. So maybe I'm going to use this wood rough. Just drag and drop it in here, delete the first layer, and yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good. You have to tweak it a little bit. So let me see what we can do. So we have our option down here. The first thing I'm going to go up with our tiling, maybe to 5. Yeah, 5 is better. So the next thing is, let me see, the height is a little bit too much. So where it is, it's here, the height range. If we go play a little bit with the setting, height position, a little bit down. And yeah, it's better. it's better. So maybe we can just add more worn fibers. It's totally up to you. How do you want it to be? But I leave it like that. So we have to darken this a little bit down because it's too bright. I don't want it that bright. So we're going to add a level in here. So right click on this layer, add level. With the level we can go with this slider here a little bit down and it's going to be darker. So maybe that's enough. And now we can add some dirt on it. So maybe we play later on with the settings a little bit. So add a fill layer, make sure it's on top, add a black mask. This one we are going to call dirt. And in the black mask, right click, add a generator. Go on the generator, click here on this button and type in dirt, and we have some dirt. So the white parts here are where the dirt is going to be. So it's looking good so far. Maybe we're going to add a little bit, maybe a little bit more contrast. Or a little bit less. No, a little bit more. So, good. Let me see if we have the tree planar has to be false. That's good. We can add some more grunge. Maybe a little bit with this grunge scale. But you see we have to tweak a little bit more our dirt level, go a little bit down, like that. So that's good for now. We have to tweak the color. So go back to the main layer, and on the base color we have to go a little bit with darkness down. So we have our dirt on top and on place that it has to be. You see it's too shiny, so we can just deselect the metal, the roughness, and the height, and the normal. We only need the color. In here, these areas, these are too dark, so I don't like it. To soften it a little bit, you can always go to this area here, to the 100, open it up, and just go down with the value. And it's better now. I like to tweak a little bit more the generator. We are going up with our grunge amount. Okay, that's better. I don't like this area here. There is too much hate in here. So go back to the wood area and go down on technical parameters with the hate position. Like that. And we are good. Alright, it's looking good so far. You see we have some problems in here because the UVs are just rotated. So we have to create second color area. To do that, it's very easy. We are going to pack all in our folder here. I'm going to call this folder wood 1. Select this 2 and drag and drop it in here. Oh, select the wood, drag and drop it in here. Select dirt. The dirt has to be on top. So we have our wood folder 1. Copy this and paste it in here, and the wood folder 2 will be our rotated wood. So to achieve that, we can just go into the wood rough on the second folder, go up to rotation and rotate it by 90 degrees. You see we have a mess now because we have to add first our black mask. We have to do it on the wood 1. I'm going to hide this for now. Go to wood 1, to the material, to the texture, add a black mask. On the black mask, go to the left panel, to this area polygon fill, And for now, select all. Good. Now you can deselect the parts we don't need to do that. Go up here to the slider, go to black. And it's important that you go to mesh fill. And now select all the parts that are just in the wrong direction.